All right, let's get started here. Today's lesson is on estimating. So we're doing what we did last week, except we're estimating. Give me a reason why we estimate. Brendan, will you please lay your board down flat? We estimate to what, Aaron? To make things easier. So today's going to be an easy day because we're estimating. Question of the day, what are some ways to estimate our products when we have decimals? Decimals are a little bit trickier. So this is a planner for a wedding, and she needs to buy 16 pounds of sliced cheddar cheese. So if 1 pound costs $2.15, then how much will all that cheese cost? Well, what operation are we going to use to try to find the answer to this? Aaron? We're going to multiply. Now, if we're going to multiply, we need to take a look at these numbers and we need to find some estimated numbers. So if we're looking for about a certain amount, that means that we're going to estimate. In this case, we probably want to find out about how much money we're going to need to pay the bill, right? So about how much means let's take these numbers and let's round or estimate them. Let's see if she has enough money with her. Well, the cheese costs $2.15 per pound. And she wants, how many pounds did she mention? 16 pounds. So now what we can do is we can take these numbers and we can estimate them. So we would take whichever one we want to start with. Let's start with, let's start with the 16. The biggest place value is the tens. So if we wanted to round that number, it would be rounded to what? Dathan? 20. Now when we're rounding decimals, that is the same way. The biggest place value is the ones right here. So about how much money per slice? Dathan? $2. So now we have a much easier problem to solve. We take $2 times 20 pounds. Can everybody do that in their head? What is it, Will? 40. That's right. Much easier, right? So she wants to make sure that she has enough. About 40 bucks is what she's going to need. So we are going to do some guided practice together here today. And these first problems have decimals in them. Now, out of these two numbers, I want to start with this one simply because I know that I can round that in my head really fast. The largest place given isn't the 2, it's not the 1, it's the 4. So what would be my estimated number? Cole? 400. Thanks. So done with that. Now we go over to this guy over here. The biggest place value given isn't this one, it's this one. So there's my place. What am I going to round that to? Alan? 90. Okay, well, I think we better say 0.90 or 0.9, either one. It doesn't matter because 0.90 is the same thing as 0.9. All right? So now we're going to multiply these. I'm going to cross this out so you're not even looking at it. Ignore the zeros and ignore the decimal. Basic fact, 9 times 4. Caden? 36. Out of all of that problem, how many zeros are there? Shout it out. 3. So I can put them in. But now I have to put in my decimal. How many spots did it move? 2. So from the end, I'm going to go 1, 2. My final answer is 360. That's it, just 360. You would have gotten the exact same answer if you would have left this to be a 0.9 instead of 0.90 because they mean the same thing. Okay, which number do you want to round first? Which is easiest? Alexis? 104 you would change to what? 100. Good. The biggest place value given was this one here, so that's what she rounded it to. Now, the biggest place value given here is the tenths. So what would you change that to? Sam? Okay. Well, we can't forget the point though. 0.30 or 0.3. You know what? This time I think I'm going to just say 0.3 because it's the same thing. Ignore the zeros. Ignore the decimal. Basic fact, 1 times 3. Aaron? 3. Let's put in our zeros. How many spots do I need to move the decimal?
1.
It moved 1 spot in, so my answer is, how do you read that? It's just 30. You could add a lot of zeros at the end. Sure, and it's still the same thing. Thanks for remembering that from last week. Aaron, which number do you want to start with? Yeah, 80 is fine. We can just leave it. It's already rounded. So what would you change the 9.02 to? Just a 9. Just a plain old boring 9. Now, how many can do that in their head? Kaylin, what did you get? 720 is correct. I think that's what you said anyway. Yeah? Okay. Here we go. Brendan, which number would you like to start with? The 24? What is this closest to? Thank you. Okay, now let's go over here. Pay attention. What would we change the decimal number to? Kiara? 0.50, okay. 0.50 is what it's closest to. Ignoring the zeros and ignoring the decimal, we have a basic fact of 5.5 times 2, which is what, Aiden? 10. How many zeros do I need to put in? 2. And how many spots do I need to move my decimal from the end? 1. Here's where it started. 1. 2. Yeah, so from the end, I need to go in.
That's a boring 10.
That is just a plain old boring 10. There's the answer, 10. So far, so good? We're going to do one more up here before we move on to your iPads. Which one would you like to start with, Dathan?
The 33.05.
Okay, which is?
I would change it to 30.30.
Let's just leave it like this. Let's not put a decimal in unless we have to. Okay, so 30. How about the other one? We can leave it. There you go. So you have a final answer of? 6,000. There's 3 zeros. There it is. Why wouldn't we want to just change this to a 33? Kaden? It is a hard number to multiply in your head. Not to mention, this guy right here is the biggest number, the biggest place value given. So when we round him, he becomes 30, not 33. All right, now I'd like you to take out a blank page in your iPad, and let's do some of these together. All right, first problem to copy down is this. I don't think you're going to need them today. What I will expect on today's assignment is that you will change both of these numbers by crossing them out and putting them either above or below, and a new answer at the end. Estimated product at the end. America, it's time to start. Good job, Eileen. Don't forget the point. Straight, there you go. Now you can multiply. Today's secret password is Roadrunner. Darius is going to help me out with the first problem. 302 gets changed to 300, he says. 0.8 or 0.80, doesn't matter. Whatever you did is fine. So now 8 times 3 is 24. There were 2 zeros to put in. How many spots do you need to move the decimal? 1. Unless you added another 0, then you would move it 2. So your final answer is Roadrunner. 240. All right, moving on to next problem. Don't be tricked. This is easier than you think. Good job, Emma. Okay. If we have a single digit like this guy right here, we don't need to do anything with him. We really don't. We can leave him alone. So we can leave this guy alone, but what would we change the 44.1 to? America? Okay, 40. That's it. 40 times 7 is what, America? 280 is correct. It's a single digit that doesn't have a decimal, so we can just leave it alone. We can simply leave it alone. Next problem. Oh, Roadrunner. I forgot the Roadrunner. It's okay. It's okay. That's my fault for not remembering it. Did you forget a 0 at the end, dear? Next problem is this. Okay, help me out. Which number did you change first, Sky? The 0.59? What did you change it to? 0.50? I think it's closer to something else. You have to say the point, though. This isn't anywhere near 60, but it is very close to 0.60. That's okay. How about the 89? What did you change that to? 90. Good work. So now, ignoring our zeros and our decimals, what's 9 times 6? 54. Now we can put those 2 zeros in, but how many spots do we have to move our decimal from the end, Darius? This moved 2 spots, so my answer has to move 2 spots. 1, 2. So final answer is just plain old boring 54. Good work. Now, if you change this to a 0.6, then your answer probably looks something more like that, which is the same thing. It's the same thing. Of course it's the same thing. Roadrunner. Nice job. All right, here we go. Next problem. Since I'm running short on time, can somebody help me? How would I change this number? Biggest place value given. Dathan?
Go up to 10.
10. 96 isn't anywhere close to 10. 100.